What's going on, guys? It's Patrick here, and today, ladies and gentlemen, we are coming at you with another top 10, but this is a big day because, guys, we are doing a Fortnite top 10. Ladies and gentlemen, sit down because we are going to be going over the top 10 rarest items in Fortnite. Weapons, items, traps, greens, beans, potatoes, tomatoes, you name it, we got it on this list. Now, before we do get into it, guys, I just want to ask if you could show your support of this video by dropping a like as well as subscribing to the channel if you're new. That would be great. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into it. So coming in at our number 10 spot, guys, this is going to be something that's kind of rare, kind of not rare. It's the shield potion. Now, in my personal opinion, the shield potion is like that thing that it is rare, but only when you actually need it. I've had games where I spawn into an area and I wind up with 6 shield potions, and then in the games where I actually need that many, I don't find any. And I think that's why it fits nicely in at our number 10 spot. It's not the most rare item ever, but it's also just like one of those things that I swear to God, the more you need it, the less likely you are to find it. And the thing with the shield potion is you're likely going to find at least 1, maybe 2 in a game, but there is also a very high probability that you don't find any. And as they are such a crucial part of the game, I feel like they are pretty rare, and they come in at number 10. Moving down to our number 9 spot, we have the bush. So for some reason, the bush is legendary. I don't think the bush should even be given a ranking category because it's absolute trash. For those of you that haven't played Fortnite in a couple weeks, they added a feature which basically you apply it like a potion and you get transformed into like a ghillie sniper, but you're basically just a walking bush. Now, in my personal opinion, the bush is just terrible. It makes it harder to see the enemies, so it's more difficult to shoot. I mean, you really still stand out quite a bit. The only time it's good is if they're very, very far away. It really doesn't help you ever. And all that being said, if you get shot once, you lose it. So like, it's just really not that useful. But that being said, it is still actually quite rare, and it is certainly a big day when you find a bush. Moving down to our number 8 spot, guys, this is going to be the epic or purple tactical shotgun. Now, while the tactical shotgun in on its own is certainly not an extremely rare item, I find that the purple one tends to be a little bit more rare. The epic purple tactical is the best shotgun in the game, doing 112 damage per second, 73 damage per shot with 8 shots in its mag. It's pretty juicy. Now, the purple tactical shotgun is totally not 100% necessary, as I mean, you can run a blue or a green, but in those very intense situations, it's best to have as much firepower as you have. Moving down to our number 7 spot, guys, we've got the med kit. Now, before the 1.9 patch update, the med kit was absolutely crucial because it was the only way to get your health from 75 by using bandages all the way back up to 100. They then added in the blue slurp, which does the same, but that being said, the med kit is still a very rare item. Whereas with the shield potion, I might be lucky enough to find 1, 2, or even sometimes 3. I find the med kit is usually once, very rarely twice in a game, and besides that, I just have to loot it from killing other people. But finding this item in an area or even from a chest can be extremely rare, and I find this thing to be pretty hard to come across. But speaking of that update that I was talking about, guys, coming in at our number 6 spot, this is going to be the slurp potion. So for those of you that may not have played recently, they added a new potion in that restores 25 shield potion and 25 health, but it will go past that 75 that the bandage is capped at. And that's where this thing is absolutely awesome. I think Epic Games was really smart on this one because they recognized the only way to go from 75 to 100 was with the med kit, and by adding this in, it kind of gave you this second option where you use this to go from 75 to 100, then you hold on to the med kit when you're extremely low or when your teammate is just down. And on top of that, what's so great about it is you're at 75 health, you go up to 100, and you get that bonus 25, which oftentimes towards the end of a game, if everyone else just has, like, let's say 100 health, maybe 75, you get such an advantage from that, and that's why I think it is really awesome. Now, in terms of rarity, I find this thing to be very difficult to come across. Maybe once in a game if I'm lucky. Which in a way is kind of weird if you think about it, because like the shield in a lot of ways is actually better. But realistically, how often do you find one of these in a game? And more realistically, how often do you find one on a dead player? Moving down to our number 5 spot, guys, we have the gold scar. What I would describe as the most common uncommon weapon. The thing with the gold scar is it's super rare to find. You're very likely not gonna come across one of these in a chest in a game, but whenever you get one, it's so significant. People are always like, gold scar. It's like almost a meme at this point. Gold scar. I feel like it's less rare because because of its significance. The Scar isn't one of my favorite weapons to use, but I still have to recognize that it is extremely good. With a damage per second of 214 and a headshot multiplier to 98, this thing is the most lethal weapon in Fortnite. 39 a shot, but again, 98 for a crit. You really can't argue the value of the Scar in a game. And again, in terms of rarity, like how often do you find a gold Scar? It's so significant when it happens because it's so rare. Number 4, the launch pad. So this is a very new item that was recently introduced into Fortnite, and basically what it does is it's similar to the jump pad, but instead of just launching you somewhere, it actually sends you up into the sky and lets you pull your glider out, or your umbrella if you're cool. So you don't like the area that you spawned in? Well, you can just set this up, fly through the air, and go to another area much, much quicker. But the thing that makes the launch pad so good is if you have enemies far away and they're shooting at you, you can launch up, fly through the air, basically go all the way around them with full flank and just destroy them. Not to mention, it is really, really fun. And I gotta be honest, they are extremely hard to come across. Now with the initial launch of these, you could actually only find these through crates, but they've actually made them slightly less rare and you can find them laying around now. With such a recent update that it's kind of hard to base exactly how rare these are now, so we're using the statistic from past when they were only in chests. That being said, they're still pretty hard to come across. Coming in at number 3, ladies and gentlemen, we have the legendary rocket launcher, or as the new kids are calling it, the pumpkin launcher. Back in my day, we didn't shoot no pumpkins. Anyways, that was like a month ago. Pumpkin launcher, rocket launcher, what we're talking about is that legendary thing that kills everything, wins games, and makes you feel like an absolute god. While the legendary rocket launcher has a damage per second of 91, per shot it does 121 damage. It's just absolutely great at those long-range fights by destroying other people's bases, and that's really what makes this thing good, and it being so good, it's obviously rare. Rocket launchers in general are pretty hard to come across, and the legendary is one of those things, like, you honestly just never see it. Number 2, the legendary bolt-action rifle. I would honestly say that this and the legendary rocket are right on par with each other of being pretty much equally rare. The only reason I'm putting it above it is just I think it's better. But if you're really triggered in the comment section, we can call this one a tie. Anyways, I mean, what's not to like about the legendary bolt action sniper? This thing does 116 damage per shot. Actually, the ironic thing about snipers is they all do more than 100 damage, so realistically, it doesn't matter that much which one you have, but obviously, the more damage, the better. Like if I asked you, do you want to do 105 or 116, you're gonna take the 116. The only issue is that this thing is almost impossible to come across. Pretty sure the only time I ever get this item is when I killed someone that had it. Anyways though guys, coming in at our number 1 spot, this is a really surprising pick. It's the legendary or gold semi-automatic sniper. This is the rarest weapon in Fortnite, which is weird because it's certainly not the most coveted and definitely not statistically the best, but think about this. When do you ever see a legendary bolt action? I mean, it happens, but it's definitely rare. When have you ever seen a legendary semi-auto? I didn't know they existed. Literally for this list, I thought it only went to purple semi-autos, and I was like, oh, I guess that's a thing. Kind of weird to think about, but I swear this is the most rare item in Fortnite. Not in a good way, it's just hard to get. Anyways though guys, that is going to be our video for today. I really hope you enjoyed this one, guys. A little different, I know, but I felt the need to do this and I really enjoyed it. So if you guys did like this, please drop a like. Let me know what you thought and subscribe to the channel if you're new. Would be awesome to see that support. But anyways guys, thank you so much for watching. I will see you later. Peace out. You freaking nerds.